Well, hi. Today is Friday, February 20th, 2026. I'm Todd Studer, and this is Morning Coffee. I have mentioned it many times that, of course, this is not live. This is recorded ahead of time. And as I am recording, I'm not sure how much snow we've got yet. It actually hasn't started to snow yet as I'm recording this. So was it 2 inches? Was it 6 feet? I'm not really sure. But whatever it was, I hope that you're warm, that you're safe, and that you're coming through everything just fine. And I thought this would be a great opportunity to do a show again about business because you know how much I love entrepreneurs. And I have been doing business in Council Bluffs long enough to know that things here work differently than they do in a metropolitan area. And as a matter of fact, they work different here than they do in other communities this size. And it's not as if that is a unique thing to Council Bluffs. This is every market is going to have its own way of doing things. And if we as business owners cannot adapt and plug ourselves into those communities in the way that the community will accept us, then we're not going to see success. So I thought that we would do a show today about 5 of the most common mistakes that a new business owner can make when doing business in a community such as Council Bluffs. That's going to be the topic of today's show. We also want to let you know that technology should be working for you, not against you. And at ThinkSpace IT, they provide expert IT solutions to keep your business running smoothly and securely. From cybersecurity and cloud services to network management and tech support, they simplify IT so you can focus on what matters most. So stay protected, stay connected, and stay ahead. Visit ThinkSpaceIT.com. If you're looking for a laid-back spot with great food and even better company, it's the Mile Away in Council Bluffs. This family-run bar and grill is your go-to for mouth-watering wings, unbeatable weekly specials, and a welcoming atmosphere that feels like home. They're located on Old Lincoln Highway, just north of Council Bluffs. If you make it to Crescent Hill or all the way into Crescent, you've gone too far. So it's going to be before that. But pull in, enjoy breakfast, lunch, or dinner. They're closed on Mondays. But other than that, you can find them and a very welcoming atmosphere, as we said. Follow them on Facebook for all the latest events and specials. It's the Mile Away, where great food and great people come together. All right, let's give this talk about advice about reputation being more important than reach. This is myth number 1. There's a piece of business advice that often gets ignored over and over again in smaller cities like Council Bluffs, and that advice: reputation matters more than reach. And in a large metropolitan area, companies can survive on visibility alone. They can run constant ads, reach new audiences every week, and recover quickly if a customer has a bad experience. And there's always new people entering the market. There's always another group that has never heard of them before. But in Council Bluffs, it doesn't work that way. In Council Bluffs, reputation does not reset every quarter. It carries forward. People talk, they share experiences, and they remember who showed up and who did not. They remember who handled a problem with professionalism and who avoided the responsibility of it. In a city this size, relationships overlap in ways that are hard to see but impossible to escape. A client today might be connected to a potential partner tomorrow. A neighbor might also be a referral source, and a single interaction can travel further than any paid advertisement. Many businesses ignore this advice because they become focused on numbers. They want more followers. They want more clicks. They want a broader reach. They measure success by how many people see their message instead of how deeply people trust it. That's especially true in my industry. And here in Council Bluffs, depth matters more than volume. A small number of strong relationships can carry a business much further than a large number of shallow impressions. Reputation's built slowly. It's also lost quickly. That truth becomes more intense in non-metropolitan markets. When a business fails to return calls, misses deadlines, or communicates poorly, a story doesn't stay private. It moves through the community spaces, through informal conversations, and through local networks. Reputation here is not a marketing concept. It is a lived reality. There's also another layer that often gets ignored. Reputation is not only about avoiding mistakes. It's about consistency, showing up when you promised you would, delivering what was agreed on, treating people with respect, even when circumstances are difficult. In a city like Council Bluffs, people value steadiness, they value reliability. They value businesses that behave the same way on a slow Tuesday as they do on a busy Friday. The advice about reputation can feel less urgent than advice about growth or expansion. It does not sound dramatic and it doesn't promise rapid results. But in Council Bluffs, reputation is the foundation under everything else. It determines whether referrals come naturally or have to be chased. It determines whether customers return or quietly move on, and it determines whether partnerships form easily or remain out of reach. You ignore this advice, and that can lead to a cycle of constant chasing. Businesses may find themselves always trying to replace lost customers instead of building long term relationships. They may wonder why marketing feels expensive and exhausting. Often the answer is not reach, it is trust. In Council Bluffs, trust compounds over time. A business that invests in reputation may not look flashy, but it becomes stable and it becomes known. And in a non metropolitan market like we have here in Council Bluffs, I get that we're next door to Omaha, but still, we are not Omaha. We are known for the right reasons. It's being more valuable than being seen by everyone. Also, here's some advice about building systems before you get busy. Right here, I'm talking to myself here. There's a quiet piece of business advice that many leaders overlook, especially in smaller cities like Council Bluffs, and that advice: build systems before the workload increases. When business activity begins to pick up, it feels natural to focus on motion. Calls need to be returned, meetings need to happen, deliverables need to be completed. Slowing down to create structure can feel like wasted time. Now, here in Council Bluffs, growth often comes through referrals and personal relationships rather than massive advertising campaigns. And because of that, increases in activity can happen quickly. One satisfied customer can lead to several new inquiries within a short period of time. But without systems in place, that sudden activity can overwhelm even experienced teams. Systems are often misunderstood. They're not about rigid rules or complicated software. They're about consistency. They're about creating clear processes so that work does not depend on memory or improvisation. In Council Bluffs, where customers expect personal attention and quick responses, inconsistency stands out. When businesses ignore this advice, small problems begin to multiply. Follow ups get delayed, information gets misplaced, communication becomes uneven. None of these mistakes may seem large on their own, but together they weaken confidence. And in a city where reputation travels through conversation, those weaknesses can quietly damage trust. There's also a long term cost to ignoring systems. Leaders may find themselves constantly reacting instead of planning. They spend energy solving avoidable problems instead of improving services. Over time, that reactive cycle becomes exhausting. Growth begins to feel stressful rather than rewarding. Council Bluffs businesses operate in an environment where personal accountability is visible. Customers know who they are dealing with. They recognize names and faces. Systems help maintain that accountability without depending entirely on personal stamina. They ensure that standards remain steady even when workload increases. The advice to build systems early does not create headlines. It does not look impressive from the outside, but internally, it creates resilience. It allows businesses to handle fluctuations in demand. It protects time. It protects clarity. And it protects reputation. In this non metropolitan market where relationships drive opportunity and mistakes echo louder, preparation matters. Systems are not optional structure, they are stability. Now, the next piece of advice is about pricing for sustainability instead of popularity. Here's a tough one. Another piece of business advice that is frequently ignored in smaller markets like Council Bluffs is pricing for sustainability, not for popularity. Many businesses feel pressure to keep prices low because they worry about losing customers and they assume that affordability alone will secure loyalty. In Council Bluffs, relationships matter, but that does not mean pricing should ignore long term health. When businesses underprice their services in order to appear competitive, they often create hidden strain. Margins become too thin, resources become limited. The ability to invest in improvement decreases. There's a belief in non metropolitan areas that raising prices may be seen as disloyal to the community. That fear can prevent honest evaluation of cost. Yet sustainability is not selfish, it is responsible. A business that cannot maintain healthy margins cannot serve the community well in the long run. Pricing communicates value. When prices are set too low, it can unintentionally signal that services are less substantial. Customers in Council Bluffs understand fairness, they understand cost of living, they understand effort. Many are willing to pay appropriately for quality and reliability. Ignoring this advice can create burnout. Owners may work longer hours to compensate for limited margins. They may postpone maintenance or delay improvements, and over time, quality declines, not because of lack of care, but because of lack of capacity. Sustainable pricing allows for reinvestment. It supports employee stability. It supports equipment upgrades. It supports community involvement. And in Council Bluffs, businesses are often expected to take part in local events and sponsorships. Those contributions require financial strength. Pricing for sustainability does not mean overcharging. It means understanding costs clearly and planning for growth responsibly. It means recognizing that popularity gained through low prices may not translate into long term viability. In a city where businesses often serve multiple generations of families, sustainability matters. It ensures continuity, it ensures reliability, it ensures that when customers return year after year, the doors are still open. Now, the next piece of advice that often gets ignored is more about community presence being more important than online presence. Now, this is kind of a modern tension that business advice that affects cities like Council Bluffs deeply. Many experts emphasize online presence above all else. They focus on algorithms, trends, and digital reach. Look, I get it. This is the platform that I am on right now. I am reaching you digitally. And when online visibility matters, another piece of advice is often ignored. Community presence carries more weight here in Council Bluffs. Council Bluffs is a city where people still gather at events, attend local meetings, and interact face to face. Someone recently said to me, "It doesn't seem to matter where I go, I see you there." Yeah, because that matters. Relationships often begin in physical spaces. Being present in the community builds recognition that digital ads just can't replace. Businesses that ignore this advice may focus heavily on social media metrics while neglecting local involvement. They may invest in online campaigns, but skip opportunities to participate in community events. And over time, they may find that digital attention does not translate into deep trust. It's not about one over the other, it's a balance. Community presence builds credibility. When business owners attend events, support initiatives, and engage with local organizations, they become visible in meaningful ways, and that visibility strengthens relationships. It creates familiarity. Online presence supports awareness. Community presence supports loyalty. And in Council Bluffs, loyalty sustains businesses across economic shifts. Digital attention can fluctuate. Believe me, I know. Algorithms change, platforms evolve, but local relationships remain steady. Ignoring community presence can lead to isolation, and a business may appear active online but feel disconnected locally. In non metropolitan markets, that disconnect can limit referrals and partnerships. Balancing digital tools with physical engagement creates strength. Let me say that again. Balancing digital tools with physical engagement creates strength. It's about both things. It acknowledges modern realities while honoring local culture. And in Council Bluffs, the businesses that endure are often those that show up consistently in both spaces. And finally, we're going to talk about patience leading to local growth cycles. You know, this is often ignored in smaller cities like Council Bluffs, is the importance of patience with local growth cycles. Non-metropolitan markets do not expand at the pace of major cities. Population changes are gradual. Economic shifts ripple slowly. Businesses sometimes compare themselves to urban counterparts and become discouraged. They expect rapid expansion. They expect constant upward momentum, and when growth levels off, they interpret it as failure. Council Bluffs operates within its own rhythm. Seasonal patterns influence activity. Local employers affect spending trends. Infrastructure projects shift traffic, and growth here is steady rather than explosive. Ignoring this advice can lead to unnecessary risk. Businesses may overextend during short periods of increase, and they may expand prematurely or invest beyond stable demand. When cycles adjust, they feel exposed. Patience allows for strategic planning. It encourages measured decisions and it supports steady hiring and thoughtful investment. In Council Bluffs, stability builds stronger foundations than rapid shifts. Local growth cycles are not limitations, they're characteristics. Businesses that respect those rhythms align themselves with reality rather than fighting it. They learn to anticipate patterns instead of reacting emotionally to them. In a non metropolitan market, longevity is often the ultimate measure of success. Patience supports longevity. It reinforces reputation and it strengthens systems. It protects sustainability. Council Bluffs does not reward constant reinvention, it rewards consistency. It rewards reliability. It rewards businesses that understand the pace of the place they serve. Also, I want to let you know that another business that does just that is Bryce Taylor and GLI Insurance Group, proudly serving Council Bluffs along with the communities of Tabor and Clarinda. Start of the year, as we are now moving into the later stages of February, this is a great time to reset and look ahead. There's new plans, new goals, and making sure the things you've worked hard for are protected as we roll through winter. Bryce and his team at GLI live and work right here in our communities, and they're always happy to sit down, answer questions, and help neighbors make sense of their coverage. GLI Insurance Group, local people, local service, helping our communities start the year strong. And don't forget that if you have not yet experienced the Council Bluffs PRCA Rodeo at the Mid-America Center, here's your chance. March 20th and 21st. That is a Friday and Saturday. Get those dates on your calendars. Doors are open at 6:30, action at 7:30 with PRCA sanctioned bareback riding, bull riding, and team roping. The Stellar Trick Riding Cowgirls will be performing both nights. And also Friday on the 20th, it's Kids Night. Free admission for kids 12 and under with a paid adult. Tickets start at just $20 at councilbluffsprcarodeo.com. I'm looking forward to seeing you there. Again, you know how much I believe in and encourage small business owners, and I hope that you have the next great idea to bring to Council Bluffs and that you're going to open a storefront or a service business or whatever it is. And just keep in mind that it is longevity that is what's going to ultimately lead to success. Don't get in too big of a hurry. Don't expect immediate large sums of money coming into you. Just get out, get involved in the community, get plugged in, get involved with some of the different service organizations that we have here, become a member of the Chamber of Commerce, and go to events. Go to the different events. Let the other business owners in the community see you out and about, and they can know that you are here to support them before you expect the community to support you. That's the order that it needs to be in. And that is what is working for us here at Local Stream Media and at the studios on Willow. And I know that it can work for you too. That's going to wrap up today's show and also wrap up the week. My name's Todd Studer. Have a great weekend.